Good afternoon, Tom Ginn and my co-host Mark Gassert. It helps to turn on the microphone, doesn't it, so you can be heard. But hey, tonight we're really excited to introduce our guest here in a moment. But the platform Elevate Your Profits is all about helping those that have desire to go into business for themselves, are already in business for themselves. We're bringing in people that have stories to tell for success. We're working with everything from the mindset to the bank account. And tonight's guest is, I'll just make this disclaimer. I recently met Ken Walls about 5 months ago, enrolled in his program, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. He's a tremendous individual that has a giving heart and has a desire to help people win. And I'm going to turn it over to Mark, as Mark's going to do the introduction, the formal introduction here.
All right. Hey, thank you so much, Tom. Very excited to be here this evening. I'm going to say it so everybody can get mad at me, but yes, Peachtree Corners is still the peachiest place on the planet. But you want to talk about a guy that gets 5 peach ratings and beyond? I'm talking about tonight. I'm talking about the man with the plan, Ken Walls. Let me tell you a little something about Ken. A lot of people, you can go on the web and check him out. CEO and founder, Client Solution Innovation. That's one of them. How can we help get you known? He's real big on that. He does like consulting, branding, web design, digital marketing, social media, and then kicking it up the nth degree. This brother right here, and I'll call him a brother because he is. He developed a platform, the Grow Live Academy. So you go on there and check this out. There's like, Tom, 100 live stream secrets and ideas. And I don't think any of us have completed the course because every time I turn around, Ken's adding something new to this particular platform, Grow Live. And he's really a cool individual. Like the training sessions we have, I call them mastermind groups on Thursday. I know I missed this Thursday. Sorry, guys. Baseball's kicking in. It's keeping me busy. But he's had people like Mark Victor Hansen. He's had like Jeffrey Gitomer. I know he knows Grant Cardone. He's got these guys. He's got cell numbers, man. He knows them personally. One thing I'm going to stress here, Ken has a book. If you haven't gotten this book right here, Walls of Wisdom, you need to check it out. It's an excellent book. Great job. And Ken, he kind of is the same way as Gitomer. He writes it the way he speaks. Another thing in here is the Go Live book Jeffrey Gitomer wrote. There's a chapter devoted that Ken goes into great detail and length on how to go live, grow live. And that's what I want to uncover with Ken here tonight. Tom, I'm sorry I'm amped, but I'm really excited to have him here. And he's going to share a lot of truth, wisdom, and knowledge with all of us. So I'm going to be quiet and, let's bring him on.
Ken,
Hey guys,
great to have you on.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me here, man. I shared this out.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So, well, Ken, it's your show tonight. It's an honor to have you come in and support some of your students. I think that's a testimony of who you are. You believe in what you're doing, and you want to see us utilize these resources to build ourselves, our confidence, build our businesses, all those things. And I just want to compliment you on that. But
thank you.
So
I like to see other people win.
Yeah.
And I'm always for the underdog. I like to see the underdog win. For sure.
So with that all said, because you have an underdog story too, don't you? I think we all do. And I think many times people get hung up on the negatives of life instead of focusing on how they can improve themselves to control their destiny. So tonight, Ken, it's really going to be about where do you want to take this with your story about your businesses, wisdom, recommendations, anything that, and we'll just banter back and forth and ask questions. Is that okay with you?
I'm fine. Yeah, whatever direction you guys want to go.
Okay. Why don't you let the audience know where are you from? A little bit of background about yourself.
I was born, there's, you guys are probably too young to remember this, but back in the 60s.
Yeah,
what was I doing in the 60s?
Yeah. So back in the 60s, there was a band, I forget the name of the band, but they wrote a song called Indian Lake. And I'm from Indian Lake, Ohio. And it's this tiny little, I think the main highway has one traffic light going through this little area that I'm from. And it's, that's where I was raised, and I grew up running in the summer times. All the families would come in from out of state and town, and they all had cottages around this lake. And so in the summertime, I would go, try to pick up girls, and and in the wintertime, I would just go out and get in trouble. But because there was nobody around when in the winter. But so that's where I'm from. Grew up in a really we'll just say tumultuous environment, and I was a rebel, man. I was a big time rebel. I was bucking the system in every way I could. And so, yeah, that's where it all started. I went to school at Indian Lake, and then my senior year, they called me in and they said, hey, you didn't get a biology credit in 10th grade. And I was like, yeah, that class sucked. I hated it. And they're like, well, you need a credit in that to graduate. And I said, well, that's ridiculous. Like, what a dumb rule. And they're like, well, it may be, but it's the rule. And so I said, well, then I'm out of here. And I stood up, and the guidance counselor said, you're not 18. You can't just leave. And I said, well, then I suggest you call the police, because I'm leaving. Bye. And I walked out, got in my car, and left, and I never went back. And so I did not graduate high school. However, I have had well over 1,000 college graduates work for me over the years. And I don't know what they're teaching in some of these universities, but we'll just leave it at that. I've always had a drive, man. At 7, 8 years old. I grew up in a very, very poor household. And I guess on the socioeconomic scale, we were probably lower middle class. We weren't living on government assistance most of the time. I know that my mom had to get it at times. But I at 7 or 8 years old, I saw all these kids, wearing name brand clothes. And back then it was Jordache jeans and I remember seeing that and thinking, this isn't fair. I want to, my mom would take us to where she could buy jeans for nothing, and so I was like, this isn't right. It's not fair. I want to wear nice jeans. Right. I would, complain about it. And hey, what's up, Brian? And my mom was like, you're getting what I can afford. Money doesn't grow on trees and all the stuff, and so I was like, I'm working this out. I'm getting my own clothes. And so I would go out door to door, knock on doors, and say, I can mow your yard. And no, I don't want you to mow my yard. I mow my own yard. I'm like, I can do it faster and better. And I was just going after it, and I went out and made my own money. And in the winter, I'd go out and go door to door and shovel snow off of sidewalks and out of driveways. And that's where I started my sales career. But that's also where I learned, what work ethic's all about. So, yeah.
So I know you've had a job in the past, right? I know there's a story about that.
Yeah, I'm a terrible employee, but yes. I'll tell you a conversation Grant Cardone and I had once. We were out in Vegas and he goes, "What are you doing working out here? And you need to be in Miami working for me." I said, "Dude, no. I'd be the worst employee you've ever had. No."
So Ken, when you didn't you work in the auto plants there in your hometown?
Yeah, Marysville, Ohio, Honda.
Mm-hmm.
Right out of high school. Now I may have told a little fib. They asked me now here. Okay, so life is all about, and people don't get this, man. Life is not about who you know; it's who knows you. And you know, I'm friends with some unbelievably beautiful, wonderful people that I'm so blessed to know these people. And knowing you guys, I have a tremendous network of amazing people in my life. And I think I picked up on that at an early age that, you know, if you do a really good job mowing Mrs. Jones's yard and you're really polite and kind and help her and go the extra mile, well, then Mrs. Jones will say, "You know what, go over and see Mrs. Smith and she'll pay you to mow her yard too," and go down the street. And so I would build a referral network. Well, when I was 18, I was working at a convenience store, third shift. Oh, anyway, and it was terrible, right? But I can remember thinking, this sucks. I need to make money, and I'm making like barely minimum wage or whatever it was back then. And so I'm like, Honda, I'm going to get a job at the Honda factory where they pay better than the union shops did, right? Because they didn't want they didn't want the UAW in there, so they paid more than the union workers got. And so I was like, I got to figure this out. So I'm starting to ask around, who do I know? Everybody up there works at Honda. So how do I get in there? And they're like, "Oh, you have to have a high school diploma and you have to blah, 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 blah. And there's a 6-month waiting list to get an interview, if you even get an interview and all this." And I'm like, there's got to be a way. And that's in my head. That's the way I live. There's got to be a way. Everything is figure outable. That's one of my favorite quotes. And I just saw somebody post that on Facebook or something today. Everything is figure outable. And so I don't remember how it happened, but I knew somebody that's in management at Honda. It was I think my cousin's husband or something. So I went and saw him at their house and I'm like, "I want a job at Honda." And he's like, this guy was just I'll keep it PG. But he was not a cool dude. So, but he helped me. He's like, "Yeah, just submit your application. I'll get it moved to the top." And he did. Wow. And I started out with a temporary service out there for 6 months. Then I got hired on full time. And here I was, 18 years old, making $45,000 a year. And that was 32 years ago, 34 years ago.
Right.
It was good money.
That's good money. Absolutely.
Oh, that's 110,000 now, you know. And so at 18 years old, and I thought I was a pimp. I mean, I thought I was the man, and I really did. I was a freaking train wreck. So, you know, and I had developed this alcohol problem over my teenage years. So, you know, you throw all that money at an 18-year-old that already has a drinking problem, it got real, and it got real fast. So, yeah, I worked at the Honda factory for about 2.5 years or so.
Wow.
Yeah. And the same guy that got me hired is the reason I clocked out at lunch and never went back.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And he was family. I think they got a divorce, but yeah. So,
good Lord.
Yeah.
And everybody thought you were crazy, right? That you left this dream job right? I remember when I left, I had a career path carved out and And I said, I'm out of here. This is not for me. I'm gone. And everybody thought I had lost my mind.
Dude, people don't, you guys, I don't even know if you guys know this, but I just finished another book yesterday. Well, I'm working on it still today, getting all the stuff together to put up on Amazon and get it ready for launch. But I just finished it's my 5th book. And I had an English teacher in middle school tell me I was an idiot and I would never amount to anything. And oh, by the way, Mrs. whatever your name is, I can't remember. She's written 0 books and I've written 5. So life's about action. And I can tell you, I'll tell you and anybody listening that, we all are born into this world and we're all programmed by I think there's a lot of very well-intentioned people, but they're living within their own paradigm and their own parameters and their own limitations. And somewhere along the way here in this world, somebody decided that everybody needs to go to college and get a degree and go get a job and work there for 30 or 40 years or whatever, and then retire and die. And that's supposed to be life. That sucks to me, and it has always sucked to me. The whole thought of that just, ooh. So I've never done it. I have never done it. I've always been like, you know what? I'm going to go against the programming. I'm going against the system. I don't care what your opinion is. Take your opinion and whatever. So that's just the way I am. My oldest daughter's 15 years old. She sat in my office the other day and we had a really great long heart-to-heart talk. And she said, I've decided I'm not going to college. I'm like, high fives are free today. A, you just saved me a lot of money. B, you saved yourself a lot of heartache, unless a lot of time. Our time on this planet is limited. And to take, let's say you're going to live to be 75 or 80 or 85 years old. You're going to take 4 years out of your life, or if you're going to be something else, you're going to take all those years out of your life and do what? I can stay home and read books faster and deeper and learn more than I can sitting in a classroom. That's just me, though. So anyway, yeah.
Well, that message, I know it resonates with me because, and I know it's resonating with a lot of other people out there, is that whatever drives you, a degree isn't going to get it. It's coming from in here, right? That desire. Yeah. So you walked away from Honda.
Yeah. Yeah.
With no plan, so they would say.
I went. So I had. Working there, I was real skinny. Doug Wing, what's happening? There's Larry Schneider. I see Larry and Doug. So I was skinny as a rail when I started working at Honda. And in my first 2 weeks there, I lost 20 pounds. And just, you are sweating. It's hard to imagine this, but we would build 420 cars in one shift. And like these cars are going by, right? And you think, well, that looks like it's moving pretty slow. It does. Why don't you go over there and put a sunroof in that one real quick? Because I was jumping it. It was in. Oh God, Doug's printer won't work. I'm sorry. I changed my number, bro. I'm sorry. I love Doug. So anyway, you're jumping in and out of these cars. It's crazy. It's hot. And I lost a lot of weight. Well, I ended up hurting my back. I injured my back. I slipped 3 discs in my back and 1 in my neck. And I was reaching for my front door at my house, and it felt like I was having a heart attack. So it was my back had seized up, slipped these discs, and they took me off work for 30 days. Well, I had savings, so I just didn't file for the workers' comp. I didn't file for unemployment. I've never been on government assistance ever in my life. And so I was like, I'll figure it out. I'm going to get better. I'm going to figure it out. And 30 days later, I go back to work and they put me on the hardest job in the entire plant. It's considered the armpit of Honda. It's called ET, engine and trunk painting, on line 2. And you're literally wearing a spacesuit. I'm not exaggerating. And you're holding a paint gun that has a hose and an electrical hose hooked to it. It's shooting 20,000 volts out of this thing. It's because they use electrostatic paint. You're wearing gloves that have 2 fingers cut out so you don't electrocute yourself to death because you have to be grounded. And I'm serious. Like this is the freaking job. I just got off a 30-day injury and I'm freaking, you got to be kidding me. So I do the job. I'm like, you know what? Screw it. Maybe I'm being punished, whatever. So one day at lunch, I see the same dude. He's the department manager over paint, assistant manager. I'm like, dude, I can't do this job. Y'all are trying to kill me, aren't you? What are you doing? He's like, if you ever want to be in management here, you need to quit your bitching and whining and get back to work. And I'm like, you did not just say that to me. And he's this little dude. I felt like whooping his ass right on the spot. But I'm like, okay, I'm not doing it. I said, you know what, dude? You're not talking to me like that. I'm out of here. He goes, out of where? And I go, I'm leaving. I quit. You can't quit. I go, I won't say everything else I said, but I went and clocked out, got my changed out of my uniform, because you wear an all white uniform unless you work in paint and it's all these rainbow of colors, but because you get paint all over you. But I go to the locker room, I get my clothes on, clean out my locker, and walked out. I remember going home and my ex-wife, we were young. I mean, we were 21, 20, yeah, about 21 years old. And she says, why are you home? I go, I quit. She's, bless her heart. She just starts bawling her eyes out. And what are we going to do? I had already been looking at sales jobs, and I'm like, I'm going to go make millions of dollars in sales. And she goes, what? Are you crazy? You're not in sales. You work in a factory. I'm like, I don't anymore, and I am now. And so that's where it all started, man. I started at 2021. I forget exact age, but somewhere right in there. That's when I got into sales. And I sold for the very first, it was a company called Metagram America. It was so cool. It was back before cell phones. You guys remember beepers and
right.
Right. It started with just a beeper, which meant there's no number. Just you knew that if that goes off, there's a number you got to call, right?
Oh, right.
And then they came out with the numeric beepers, and well, Metagram America took it to a whole different level. It was owned by a company, the largest telecom company in Europe. They had this company here in the U.S., and they had live operators sitting in rooms. And if somebody called your number and it was forwarded to them, they would take a message and they'd send out an alphanumeric text. And you'd get this alphanumeric text up to, I forget how many characters, but it was like, now we have something that you don't have to pull off the interstate anymore, find a payphone and call a random number just to find out that Mark Gassert's trying to sell you something. You can actually get a message that said, hey, this is what they want. This is who called. This is what they want. So anyway, I kicked butt in that job, and the general manager of this branch in Columbus, Ohio, him and I just really connected. And Doug said, "Printer's fixed." So,
it's some advice for Doug in the future. Always see if it's plugged in. Check if the switch is on. That's the first thing you do.
Exactly. So anyway, I made it. I quickly went into I became a manager really, really quick, and I really excelled in sales, and I loved it. Although I did realize rather quickly, I didn't know I didn't know a lot. I was carrying a lot of demons from my past, and I was carrying a lot of anger and chip on my shoulder, and I was man, and I was an alcoholic to boot. And so I'm in this, I'm making incredible money. I went to another company, got, you know, another sales job. And again, moved up quickly in management and ended up in Atlanta, lived in Kennesaw, and love Atlanta. And I owned a business for a while. I ended up leaving the company I was with, and then went over and started my own business down there off of Cobb Parkway in Marietta. Yeah. So right at the end of Dobbins Runway on 41 there. Yeah. Yeah. So
It's like a Mark's neighborhood then, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Peachtree Corners, I think so. Isn't that over by?
That's north off of 285 on west, you know. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So I mean, I was 22, something like that. And I went to Atlanta. I bought a house, had a big swimming pool and giant backyard. And at 22 years old, I'm not afraid to take chances. I'm just not afraid. And I ended up going bankrupt in that. I lost everything, but, you know, I'm not, my company succeeded. Well, the problem is I drank a lot from morning to night. And so it's very difficult to run a business when you're pounding the booze. It's just very difficult.
Yeah. And that is, you know, that's a testimonial of grabbing the inner side of you to make a change. And that's an everyday battle, I'm sure, right, Ken?
It's not anymore, man. I wish I could say it is, but a lot of people think it is. I've hung out with people who are probably practicing alcoholics, you know, and I've driven them home, and I've been around them when they're pounding wine and booze and whatever. And I've had people, you know, I mean, look, I've got 18 and a half years sober now, and I'm grateful. It's by the grace of God and a lot of hard work. But when I surrendered finally at 34 years old, I had lost millions of dollars, many, many, many friends, been through, I don't even know how many relationships. And I was on the verge of death, and it was either stop drinking or die. And it was literally,
wow,
pretty much a voice that kind of the clarity I received. I mean, I was throwing up blood every day. I was eating Rolaids like they were going to stop making them to suppress the acid, and I was, you know, smoking 2 packs or more of cigarettes a day. I'm drinking. I'm waking up in the middle of the night, shaking and going to my freezer and grabbing a bottle of Sky vodka and chugging it just so I could stop shaking. And, you know, I always kept a bottle or 2 of Crown Royal in my desk at my office. That's where I learned I was unemployable. You know, having a job gets in the way of drinking, you know, but when you own the joint, it's like, hey, I own this. You don't like it, get out. I don't care. So, you know, that's just the way I was. You know?
Hey, Ken, I got to stop you there. So when you were doing that, what were you drinking at the time? I mean, I'm not trying to be funny here. Was it alcohol, beer, combination of beer, wine, alcohol?
Yes. Yep.
Wow. Wow.
Look, if I never did it, but I mean, I met people in the rooms of Alcoholics Anonymous that had drank freaking hand sanitizer.
Wow.
You know what? There's a chemical in the alcoholic and addict's brain that can only be detected at the point of autopsy, and it's called it's THIQ. I forget what it stands for. But you know, you don't realize when you're an alcoholic, and I see what Ryan's saying. That's freaking awesome, bro. Congratulations. Yeah. That's awesome. So, you know, I mean, I was a raging alcoholic, man. I built a multi-million-dollar company that from nothing, I built it into this multi-million-dollar company when I was in my mid-20s, and I drank it all away, everything. And I look back, and I didn't know how sick I was. I had no idea. I thought everybody around me was the problem. I thought every circumstance that came my way that was a challenge was the problem. I thought, all of these things, I thought it was somebody else's fault, and it was never mine. And so when I finally surrendered at 34 years old, this dude comes into this bar, and I drank, you've heard of Jack Nicklaus, the golfer, right?
Yeah.
So he's got a house here in a golf course called Muirfield Village. And so I drank in a bar, and I lived over in that area in Muirfield Village. So it was a upscale bar / restaurant. And so I'm sitting in there, and this dude comes in, sits down. I'm on my 7th beer. I've got no buzz because my tolerance was just unpredictable. And so this dude sits down. He goes, "Hey, I put in my 2-week notice." I said, "Well, good for you, dude." And he goes, "Yeah, I'm ready to start working for you." And I go, "For me? What are you talking about?" And he goes, you offered me a job. So you told me to put in my notice. And I go, "I'm not hiring, bro. I'm downsizing right now. What are you talking about?" And he goes, "What? You don't remember?" And I go, "Remember what?" And he goes, "We were sitting in here just 2 nights ago. You told me you'd hire me as your head technician and blah, blah, blah." I go, "Dude, I don't remember that. No, I don't remember what?" And he's like, he goes, "You know what, dude? You need to go get some help." And I go, "With what?" And he goes, you know what? Everybody around here knows you're nothing but a worthless drunk. Go get some freaking help." And he didn't say freaking. And I go, "Whatever, dude." And he gets up, because I'm trying to brush it off. We're in a very high-end bar. A lot of people knew me. And I look around as he walks out, and he said a couple other things. He walks out, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like, wow, just got real. And I'm looking around thinking, did anybody else hear him? And I thought, everybody else heard him, but nobody's looking at me. Why aren't they looking over here? And I'm having these conversations with myself. And so I take one little sip of the beer that I had a tall draft, took one little sip, still had half of the beer left. And I called the bartender over. I said, "Let me pay my tab." And I paid the tab and got up and walked out and went back to my hotel room. My ex had thrown me out, and we won't even talk about why, but I was an idiot. And I went back to the hotel, and I remember shutting my phone completely off, which I never did. And I laid on this hotel bed, and I started bawling my eyes out. And I said, "God, if you're real, I need your help, because I can't do this. I can't do this anymore." And I was staying at an Embassy Suites, and I was up, I don't even know how many. The thought of just going out and jumping over the rail, it would have been enough to end it. It seriously crossed my mind. I just laid on that bed, and I was bawling my eyes out. I didn't want to live anymore, but I didn't want to die. And I was at this point where I knew it had to change. But I didn't know what to do.
Right.
And so I said that prayer, and I passed out, fell asleep, whatever. I woke up the next day, and I remember waking up the next day, and something felt different. And I just said, "God, please help me stay sober just today. And I ended up going to an AA meeting that night. And I was so important in my mind. I was so important that I had to drive 30 miles or 40, whatever it was, out of town to a town way far away from where I was. And because I didn't want anybody that I knew seeing me going into a church for an AA meeting, for the love of God. And I go in, I go in, I'm wearing the ball cap, the sunglasses, and I'm like trying to be all incognito. I get a cup of coffee. I sit down at this table, and I look over, and the dude sitting next to me is this doctor that I knew. I go, "What the heck are you doing here?" He goes, "Oh, I've been waiting on you to get here."
Oh, wow.
He knew. So many people knew I was an alcoholic, but me, I didn't know. And so my life got a lot better as soon as I removed the alcohol. Sorry, that took a while. But that's
cool.
that's the most important part of my entire life story is not all the drinking. There were times when I was drinking, I had a blast sometimes. I really did. But there was always a line. It was a line that I crossed, and it was an invisible line. I never knew where the line was going to be. It might have been after a bottle of Crown Royal. It might have been after a bottle of Sky Vodka or Grey Goose or a 12 pack or a 24 pack of Bud Light. It was never just a few Bud Lights ever. No way.
Pack.
That's amateur hour.
No,
dude.
Man.
Like somebody could, oh my God, I had 3 beers. I can't even. I'm like, 3 beers and you're drunk? You're an amateur, dude. But I had a lot of fun. But I had it eventually, because alcoholism is a progressive and fatal illness if left untreated. And so, I progressed and I pushed it. I think I pushed it right up to the line. I really do. And I think that's when God said, okay, dude, you've had enough. Now let's clean you out and let's use you for making humanity better. So that's my goal today.
Yeah.
Cool.
And I know that both Mark and I, since we've got in relationship with your Grow Live Academy and that type of thing. So you got yourself, your life, that part of your life squared away.
One day at a time, dude.
What's that?
I take it one day at a time.
One day at a time.
Yep.
So getting back on your feet, what business did you go in, and what was some of the driving forces you to do what the next step in business? What was that about?
Well, at one point I was DirecTV's largest dealer in the United States, and I had built the very first DirecTV website that even existed back in 1994. I learned how I'd always been fascinated with computers. At 11 years old, with my money, I bought an old Commodore 64C. I taught myself basic programming language. You what?
I'm just saying that's where it came from. I said, aha.
Yeah.
I knew you had to have that aptitude for it, Ken.
Well, I didn't, but I had a curiosity for it. Right. So then in 94, I heard about this new web thing, and the internet was, you had AOL and some of these other CompuServe and all these, but you didn't have a lot of websites. And so I'm like, well, I can figure this out. I learned basic programming. I can learn HTML, which is, internet coding. And so I built the very first DirecTV website that I'm aware of, because I had this DirecTV dealership, and I had people from all over the country calling me, because all the marketing I did, they were asking, hey, I need a LNB for my dish, or I need this for my dish, or that for my, and I was like, geez, I can sell extra parts and cable and all this. Just if I put it on a website, they'll call them. We'll run their credit card. Well, no, not even their credit card. Back then it was, they had to send me a check.
Yeah.
There was no credit cards. Someone, good Lord, have mercy. That's terrible. Yeah, I'm glad that never happened to me. So I started learning websites. Well, when I got sober and I had lost everything. When I first got sober, I had 2 Mercedes, the big house, and I had it all, man. From the outside looking in, it really looked like I had it going on. And the fact of the matter is, I was a train wreck, and within 60 days, I lost the girl, I lost the house, I lost both Mercedes. She wasn't happy that her Mercedes got repoed either, and so that was over. And I got to say something. I can remember I can remember, and I was dating an older woman, and she wasn't having any more kids, and I was 34, and I didn't have any children, and I can remember when I lost that relationship, it was like losing a security blanket, because she was always there to drive me home or pick up the pieces and all that. And I can remember thinking, God, please don't let it end. I love her. Oh, don't let it in. And I would go through all this, and yet it did. There, no matter what, God wasn't having it. Like, hey, dude, you turn your life over to me. We're going to do it my way. Your way's not been working for you so well. So I was like, all right. So finally that ended. And I can remember my first sponsor in recovery said, dude, what do you want out of your life now that you're sober? What do you want out of life as a sober person? I'm like, more. I don't know. I don't know. Like, what he's like, think about it. What do you want? And so I come back and I'm like, you know what? I want my own children. I want a family. I want to, I want, and you know what? If God would have allowed that relationship that I was clinging on to with everything, begging, crying, literally crying, trying to manipulate the entire relationship for her to stay, and I wouldn't have two amazing and beautiful daughters today. I wouldn't have that. So, when we think about, like, God does for us what we're not able to do for ourselves. And it doesn't just apply to alcoholics. It applies to everybody on the planet. We right. Hang on to these things and it's unnecessary. So anyway, I started my first job out when I got sober was my sponsor sold for a Mercedes dealership, and he's like, and I said, let me see some of the cars on the website, and I look at it, and it's on the back of MBUSA out of New York, and I'm like, where's your main website for the dealership? And he's like, oh, we don't have one. I'm like, what? That's stupid. So I go over and I meet with the president of the company, and I said, dude, you guys don't have a website. He said, yeah, we do. It's on the back of MBU. I said, that's a landing page. That's not a website. and he goes, oh, okay. And I go, you're not even you can't even find your company in Google. And he goes, what's Google? I go, oh God, this is in 2002. So it was all still pretty new, And so that's what I started. My very first professional website was for a Mercedes-Benz dealership. And then it just started snowballing from there. Now Zig Ziglar's daughter, Julie, and I'm friends with all of Zig's kids, but Julie is a client. We built her website, julieziglarnorman.com. And I mean, we've done so many. I worked on Grant's website for a couple of years, Grant Cardone, and we've just done a lot of work over the years, and I've been very blessed, man. And I, it's all kind of evolved into. I see Sandy. Hey, Sandy. It's all evolved into marketing and social media and all of that.
Oh, yeah, thanks, Sandy. She's a sweetheart. She's I love watching her program. So
she's amazing. I love Sandy. And I feel like I'm doing all the talking, gentlemen.
Oh, we're enjoying.
Well, I tell you what, what you're doing is elevating people. Elevating. Hearing stories such as yours. There's so many people that don't get off the ground, no matter what it is. I mean, you went through a very serious situation with alcohol. There's people that fall down and never get up, and they didn't have a drink.
Yeah.
So a great testimony. And I think that's part of what we want to do with Elevate Your Profit. It's not about what is success. I think success is who you become along the way in life.
Sure it is.
We all have a destination we like to get to, but if we don't grow and we don't change who we are, I mean, we already been gifted who we are, but get to know that is what I call a definition of success. So we got a lot of people out here that follow us and follow you, and we got some new people that I know are going to be seeing this out there. But one of the things that I know you always close your program out with, what is the number one thing that holds people back? And then you, of course, you say you answer one question for them, then have them ask something else.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to do that to you, Ken. I'm going to let you give you your best shot here.
I mean, I know what it is beyond a shadow of a doubt, because I coach, I work with a lot of people. I mean, it's by far, it's the conversations that they are having with themselves, period. It's in this new book I just wrote, and it'll be released here in the next week or two. Probably, it depends. But it's in this book I wrote, if there were no limitations, like close your eyes and imagine having $10 billion in your checking account or in whatever account at your disposal. You had no more financial limitations, no physical limitations, I mean, dude, when you got $10 billion, goodbye fear. I mean, fear in the sense that most of us live in just would be gone. You'd have no financial fears, right? So you've got all of this money, you've got everything and no more limitations. What would you be? What would you do? What would you have? What would you give? And when you can remove those limiting thoughts, when you can start having different conversations with yourself, you'll get to that $10 billion. But you first have to, Grant Cardone says it all the time. He's like, you know what? You got to fix your think. Got to fix your think. He's like, you got to fix your think, and it's like, he's right. Hey, talk to anybody that has accumulated any amount of wealth, Doug Wing. But you talk to anybody and they will tell you that it all comes down to the way that you're viewing the world, and that all revolves around the conversations that you're having with yourself. And so, and I know simply based on the fact of my own personal experience and what I've seen when I'm working with people, when I'm coaching people. I mean, you hear it. You hear the conversations. I'm a loser. We have those. I have many millions of conversations with myself about how big of a loser I am. And I'm not talking about the TV show, Well, that's awesome, Ted. That's awesome.
Thanks, Ted, for your comment.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Ted. Beautiful.
Yeah. Ken, I understand exactly what you're saying. I've been in the personal development coaching space for 5 years now as an avocation, a passion to help people.
Yeah.
My story, I won't get into my story, but is we all have limiting beliefs. But with the click of a finger, you can change that thought and you can change your life. Seriously. Just one thought away from getting over any obstacle. But then it takes work. Still takes work.
It does. Yep.
That's the miracle of life is work. So
you got to put in the work, man. And I think that people, I believe, and this is me self-diagnosing my own challenges, but the books, the seminars, because they require an investment, not just of money, but of time, the courses. I've been a member of Cardone University grant sales training for years and years and years. I don't even know how much money I've invested in it, and I still, every month I get hit, boom, every month I pay him. And I don't, there's months that go by where I don't even log in, but there are times when I do log in, and I don't recommend that, but I've been through Cardone many times. So, but I study this stuff because I want to be better. I want to learn from the people who are doing better than me. And if I can invest a little bit of money and a little bit of time and really focus and get on the right course, that's why I developed the Grow Live Academy that you guys keep talking about. You know, I had so many people asking me, man, how do you come up with so many ideas to do live streams? And what do you talk about? And how do you get people engaged? And how do you, all of these things that I teach in the Grow Live Academy, among everything else that I teach in there, because it's not just about live streaming.
Right.
It's Grow, and Grow Live has a capital G and a capital O, right? It can be like Grow Live, Go Live, or Go Live.
That's right.
It could be Go Live. And I thought of all of those variations when I made that logo. And I believe everything has spiritual energy behind it. And I just said, you know what? This is it. This is it. This is the name of it. I personally did the logo. This is it. And you know what? We've taken this, and Glenn Morshower's come on out, and I even know how many times and coached and taught and trained in the academy, the Thursday night coaching calls. That's my favorite night of the week. I love getting in there, bringing in special guests. Craig Duswalt, who toured the world with Guns N' Roses, and now he's got this rock star marketing company. And, all these people that I've had in, and then me coming in and being able to listen to the feedback, get questions, and go in and teach. And it's my favorite thing in the world to do.
Yeah. Since I forget when I joined your academy, it's been, it's April almost. So 4 months, 7 months, maybe 8 months now. And
I could look it up. You want me to look it up?
But it seems like yesterday, but now I'm looking back, and just the resources you provide in your class. I mean, that's price itself, the how-tos and all that. But the key thing here is what you mentioned there is when you were talking is circling yourself with people that have wisdom, experience. The people you brought in, like Glenn Morshower is a sage. I've been in personal development, and I've studied with a lot of different people personally, with Bob Proctor and those type of things. He is unbelievable. That's the type of
he's on a different level.
Yeah, he's taken my coaching to a different level. Just hearing him, I go, now I understand that principle even deeper. So he is. Yeah. So what I would like to say, and I think in business, and I've seen this, and I've been in business for myself since '83, had my own insurance agents and so on. But many business people invest in systems. Now, systems are important, or processes, or all that's all important. But the number one thing I see with everybody in business is struggling or not achieving at their fullest potential is they never make an investment in themselves. This thing called the mind and how it works. And they wonder why nothing really changes. So I've made a lot of investments in myself, and it's the best thing I've ever done. Would you agree that'd be something anybody out there listening? Make that investment. Get in a circle of people that are willing to help you grow.
And here's the crazy part, man. It sounds so cliche. But it's not. I have people, my Grow Live Academy, by the way, now it's priced incredibly high. It's $1,497 a year, or $49.97 for a lifetime license. And that's $4,997 for a lifetime license, or $497 a month, every month. Those are the options. And you know why? Jeffrey Gitomer said, well, I'll tell and I'm having lunch with this dude on this week. I'm going to look real quick. I think it's April 1st. I'm having lunch with the guy that is the former CEO of Action Coach of North America. And I'm in a mastermind group with him, Jeffrey Gitomer's mastermind, and we're down at Gitomer's house a few weeks ago. And this guy says, why can't I think of his name all of a sudden? It's driving me crazy. But he goes, hey, how much is your course? Like he wanted to buy it. I go, and back then it was only $497. And I said, oh, it's $497. He goes, oh, I'm not buying it. I go, oh, okay. Why? And he goes, that's too cheap. I mean, what do you even get for that? And I go, a lot. And I start naming off. He goes, yeah, I'm not buying it. I go, dude, I have a lot of rock stars in there. He goes, well, you're not going to have me. I go, why? He goes, not until you raise the price. I am not paying you that for that. If it's that valuable, you need to charge like it's that valuable. And a light bulb went on for me. And I was like, you know what? He is so freaking right. There is a lot of valuable content in there. So I raised the price. It's up there now. I will do plans for people, but yeah.
Yeah, the value, you're not afraid to charge for your value. And I think it's a lot of business people, they bring a great amount of value and talent and stuff, but they're afraid to ask what they're worth.
Yep. It's true.
And I hear it all the time. And they worry about competition. They worry about my competition's lower price. I got to be lower than them.
Yeah.
Hey, bring your value, bring it on.
And dude, if you want a Rolls Royce, you're going to pay for it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You want a Yugo? You guys remember the Yugo?
Yep, sure do.
Yeah.
Well, how's that go? We can have as much fun as you can afford,
Yeah. It's true. It's true. Yeah.
So Ken, so you got a new book coming out. You're gonna be announcing that out there. We'd be glad to help, just get us that information. We'll make it get on the Amazon Best or whatever you want to do out there. We'll make it happen for you. So
thank you. Well, I think this so this is a book / journal, and I've really laid this out to really help impact people's lives by an instructional journal. This is what you do every day, and this is what and I literally laid it out. So if you use this journal and you do it the right way, your life will significantly change for the better. So it's coming.
And Ken, is this something you personally came up with, this idea?
Well, no, Robbie Cornelius, as you guys know, I had him come in. Were you guys on that call, by the way?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was.
I mean, there was $1 million worth of value right there.
Right.
$1 million.
And absolutely. I enrolled in it. I'm diving into it. I've got a couple things that I'm trying to figure out how to get them into doing that. So that's where I said, I this is crazy. I've done all these other books and I'm not, I don't have a journal, but yet every time I bring on a new coaching client, we start out by talking about, here are some things along the journaling lines that you're going to do every day. I'm an accountability coach. So you're going to take a picture of this that you write every day and you're going to send it to me. You're going to text it to me every day. And if you miss, we're probably going to have to end our relationship because you're not serious about coaching. And I'm not cheap, man. In fact, I was $5,400 for three months for 12 weeks. I just doubled that. I just doubled my price. So, I'm not cheap and I don't want to be cheap. I want to be the guy that you go, that dude gets results. One of my clients today, she's a coach. Today, she finally booked, I think 3 or 4 new coaching clients today in one day. But that's all as a result of everything that we've worked on for the last 4 months. That's what I want. I want people to go, man, this stuff rocks, So, yeah. Great message there. Success leaves clues. Find somebody that knows how to get to the top of the mountain and trust in your Sherpa. I call you a Sherpa.
Sherpa.
A Sherpa.
What'd you call Glenn? A
Sage.
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 A
I
sage.
can't wait. I hope someday I'm referred to as a sage.
A sage.
I think that just takes a little more time.
Just
Maybe.
yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
So
No
hey,
more gray hair.
I'm going to jump in here for a second. Since
Sure.
we're doing this that he teaches, what do you think is the future of live streaming, Ken? Seriously, moving forward, because there are people out there attempting to do it. They haven't taken your program.
Yeah.
I'm by far not perfect at it, but I'm still working, growing, developing with it.
Yeah.
I kiddingly am going to throw this in there. There's the new craze called Clubhouse.
Yeah.
And then you have live stream. So where do you think this is going to go? I mean, where do you see it going?
Well, I'll tell you, I haven't been on Clubhouse in 3 weeks, over 3 weeks. It's a time suck, and there's a lot of time suckers in there. And the access to just free information that people still aren't going to implement. Do you know how many people have purchased the Grow Live Academy and have never even logged into it?
I'm afraid to ask.
It's a bunch. Or how about they logged in and they only watched it? And at first I was like, what, my videos must suck. People aren't watching them. Right. So I start asking around to other trainers and they're like, no, dude, it's the Pareto principle. It's the 80-20. And I'm like, I think it was Zig said, how's that quote go? Something like, go the extra mile. There's not much traffic on that road. There's not. It's so freaking easy to become successful, you guys. It's so freaking easy. And people just grab these ideas out of wherever and they go, they start mentally massaging it and they're like, oh, this is going to be tough. Like, Mark, I don't know exactly what is you sell, but I can guarantee you that if I go ahead and tell everybody.
It's sales training. It's corporate sales training.
That's
and the live stream has helped me tremendously in dealing with people.
Well, I could get a job. I've never sold sales training per se,
right?
But I could get a job at your company, and I can promise you it would not take very long, and I would be I'd be in a leading role position as far as my numbers, only because I'm crazy enough to believe in myself, and I'm crazy enough to, even if I don't believe in myself, just say, I don't know what the hell I'm doing, but I'm calling you to sell you sales training because I think maybe your company needs it.
Right.
And they'll go, what? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, how's your sales going? I think we might be able to put a program together for you here.
Right.
I'm crazy enough to do that. And, and maybe it's stupid enough. I don't know. But
no, you have to be that way. That's
right.
Good. You have to be that way. Yeah.
Success isn't difficult. It's very, very easy. In fact, people make way too much out of it, and they play these mental games, and they're like, I did it. I've done it. I've done the saying, the hardest door to open every morning when you're out knocking on doors is your car door. The hardest door to get through is your car door. Getting out of the damn car. I have done that. Where, when I was first in sales, I'm making a couple grand a week. So I'm making crazy money 32 years ago. And I'm like, I'd have this cushion. And then all of a sudden I'd be like right there. I'd get in my head and I'd be like, okay, I got to go out and drum up some business, get some leads going, building relationships and all that. And I have it mapped out. And back then we had the what was that book? I can't think of what, I'll think of it. But anyway, so I had it mapped out, every place I was going to stop in a 5 or 10 mile radius, and I drive around the first business. I wouldn't get out there till 10 o'clock, in the morning. And then I'm driving around. Oh, looks like they got a lot of customers. I'll come back later. I'll drive over to the other place now. Oh, it doesn't look like they have much going on at all. I better not stop there. They probably don't have any money, right? And then look at that. It's lunchtime already. Wow, I'm going to go grab me a sandwich. And, I've just done it. And it's just dumb, man. If you just go out and hit it and hit it and hit it and hit it and be dumb enough to not care about no and be dumb enough to not care about no soliciting signs. I've had people say that. Hey, did you not see the no soliciting sign? I'm not here to sell you anything. I'm here to help you. That's what I'd say. Anyway, you just there's not much competition on the road to success, man. Not much at all.
Sir, I totally agree with you. Because I've been in sales training. I've had my own company. People, it's what you're saying about the car door. I remember when I first we didn't have internet and email and stuff. We had referral letters, and we actually went out and knocked on the door.
Yep.
Hey, did you get my letter?
Everybody should have to do that. Knock on the door.
I remember many a times I would drive by the house, and I would look at the house. Oh shit, they're home.
Yeah,
right around the block. Oh, they're still home.
Right. No, I know.
Everybody, I haven't found a salesperson yet that hasn't had a story like that they cannot relate to. That fear, self-doubt, worry. Yeah. What is somebody going to think? I didn't close the last one. I'm not going to close this one.
Yeah, man. I've been there so many times, and I've heard every salesperson's excuses. I've heard it all, man. I've trained I don't know how many salespeople over the years, and it's all the same. It's all the same. Yeah. There's no traffic on the extra mile. There's just not
to hit it.
You got to hit it. He's right. Jerry, hey, bro, how you doing? Ted, if you just started with live streaming, you need to join the Grow Live Academy. Hit me up and I'll work something out for you, man. Love to have you in there. But and always be closing. But yeah, I mean, look, if you want to be successful, do what the unsuccessful aren't willing to do. Put in the extra hours, develop a show like this. It's 7:07 p.m. here on the East Coast, do and I'm not done. I still have hours worth of work to do tonight.
Right.
I'm not done.
Yeah.
Well, what about family time? I see my kids. I see my wife. We have time together. We live in the same house. I work here. Trust me, we see each other. Are we out holding hands at the park and doing the 9-to-5 thing? No. You want that? Go join the Brady Bunch or something. I don't know what to tell you. It ain't happening here. I mean, it does. We go have fun. We do fun things, but they like things like food.
Yeah.
A
roof over their head. They like that. Yeah.
They like to go to the refrigerator and know there's something in there too.
Yeah.
Now, Ken, the reason I ask you that, I have to say thank you because it's helped me being in your program and going to the Thursdays and just being associated with some of these people that are hopping on here tonight, which they don't have to do. By the way, we graciously all thank you for being with us. I can't.
Unless you don't join the Grow Live Academy, then we're not thankful for you.
We're not twisting arms. And if you call me, I'll give you my direct line. You can get my affiliate link.
There you go.
We'll really work out a deal. No, but but getting into that, I think it's a great program, and that's why I ask you about the future of it. There's so many ways to make revenue. Off of this particular platform that
Yeah.
you brought to us. And
I teach the Hippo video stuff in there,
Right.
which I know you're using as
that's
well.
excellent. Yep.
It's magical. And so there's 15 training videos on that. There's, the future of live streaming is this. Every single one of us is walking around with, look, you can see the reflection of my camera.
Yeah.
In my, up there, but every single one of us is walking around with a television studio in our pocket. And what I ask everybody is this one question. I say, let me ask you something. In your local market, is there an ABC, NBC, CBS, and Fox? 99.9% of the people say yes. And I say, okay, so if I represented ABC, NBC, CBS, and Fox, and we all got together and said, hey, you know what, Mark? We all got together and we decided that we want to give you the ability to run ads on all of our networks at the same time. And you can run them 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. Get on our network and just run your ads. We don't even care how long they are. Just go. Just do whatever you want, man. And you know what we're going to charge you for that? Absolutely nothing. Would you tell me no? You'd be a fool to say no.
I'd be an idiot. Yeah.
Like Webster's would be like, all right, we got to come up with a new word for this guy. Like, dumb isn't enough. Like, right? So of course you would say yes. And so here we are with Facebook, the 8,000-pound gorilla. Facebook, if Facebook were a country, it would be the largest country in the world.
Right.
With 3 billion active users. And so here we are with Facebook, and people don't, number one, they don't use it. Number two, they don't know how to use it. Number three, they're not frequent enough. They're not doing it enough. And then they sit around and go, God, look at the checking account. We're getting low on funds. What do I do? Oh, I think I'll cold call some more, and when you could go live, you could develop a show like you guys are doing so people get to know your personalities. Why do people do business with us? They do business with us because they know us, they like us, and they trust us, right? What better app? I've been out there, man. I've knocked on thousands and thousands, tens of thousands of doors, and it sucks. I mean, it sucks. I don't care who you are. It sucks to cold call. Well, this has given you the ability to no longer have to cold call. Do you know I have been live over 3,000 times now? And here's the thing. I can walk into some places and it's the craziest thing. People recognize me in public. Oh my God, you're Ken Walls. I watch you on Facebook Live all the time. Do you know how many times I've heard that? So many times. You have the ability to build anything you want to build. And that's why I built the Grow Live Academy, because there are a handful of guys like you two and several other people that are on here, Sandy Archer, and that get it. Jerry Eisenhower, that get it. You get it. You're like, you know what? This is where I need to be. I need to learn how to do this.
Come out of your shell and stop holding back, man. Please stop. Stop getting enthused and,
can't handle this.
You guys know this because you've been in the Grow Live Academy and you've taken it, but Grant Cardone said, dude, you got to build your own celebrity. You got to create your own celebrity. And I'm like, what the hell? What's that even mean, dude? Like, I don't know. What's that mean? And what it means is the word celebrity in and of itself means nothing. All it means is other people's perception of you. That's it. That's it. And I'll never forget at the first 10X Growth Con, this girl walks up to me and she said, oh my God, you're Ken Walls. And she's crying. And I'm like, yes. And I was scared, but she's like, you changed my life. I watch your live streams all the time and you literally have saved my life. And it was one of those moments where I was like, really? Really? Like, it just meant everything to me to hear this girl say that. She asked me to autograph her Grant Cardone 10X book thing.
Oh, wow.
I was like, okay. Like, so we have the opportunity to positively impact the world, and people don't know how to do it. And that's why the Grow Live Academy exists.
Yeah. Yeah, Ken, that's our reason in life. I mean, from my perspective and my belief and my faith, we're here to serve and improve other people's lives. It's not about us. Take our gifts, our talents, our genius, because everybody's listening here has a genius.
Yep.
And power if they just learn to use it and harness and make a difference in other people's lives. And what goes out will come back.
You know where the wealthiest place in the world is?
Yeah.
And it's sad, man. It's the cemetery.
Yep.
So much freaking knowledge, so much skill, so many songs that were never sung, so much music still left inside of those people in those graves. And I'm talking not just a couple, but I'm talking the majority. And you know, it's like, man, stop playing at such a small freaking, the game is so much bigger than most people even realize. Stop playing so small. Live your life and live it all out. Live it all out.
And don't die with regrets. The last thing I don't want to have to do is meeting my maker. And he says, let me introduce you to the guy you could have been.
Yeah.
You know, I'm you know, just go for it. Have fun.
Yeah, man.
Create a legacy for your family and yourself.
I agree, man. I use that word in my my new book a couple of times. And I keep saying my new book. It's a journal with about 5 or 6 pages of really deep content in the beginning of it. Yeah. So I made it kind of a hybrid thing.
Cool.
So yeah.
Well, Mark, do you have anything else?
Well,
I think we
Ken answered my question.
3-hour deal here if we wanted.
Yeah.
I got all night.
We could go on and on and on here, but you answered my question about live streaming. And all I'm going to say is I remember when I started out, and you remember when I started out, but you got to start. And the whole point is, you know, once you do that and you just, like you said, you keep working at it, you just get better and better and better and better. And that's why we call you, you know, you are the master of live stream, you know, because that's your deal.
Thank you, dude. I appreciate that. Mark, I remember your very first live stream. and I always say that the first time I went live, I was nervous as a hooker in church, but I got to give you that prize now.
Okay, cool.
Because the first time you went live, dude, there was sweat dripping off of you. I'm kidding. It wasn't that bad, but you were nervous. It was visible.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think
now look at you. Look at you both. It's crazy, man.
Yeah, we got a good mentor, an encourager.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you guys.
I appreciate it. Before Ken leaves us, I will tell you this. If you're not a member of the Grow Live Academy, go check it out, please.
Ken, do you have something we can put on here on the banner?
growliveacademy.com. growliveacademy.com. And I'll tell you what, I'll for anybody watching, if they want use this coupon code, you can get $300 off of it. It's 300OFF all together, no space, 300OFF for $300 off.
I'm dyslexic. Did you get that, Mark?
It's 300OFF.
Yep.
300OFF.
I'll type it into the comments. So if anybody wants to get into the Grow Live Academy, you get $300 off, and that's on the annual package. So that's $300 off for the first year. And then yeah, so
Grow Live Academy.
What's that?
It's Grow Live Academy.
growliveacademy.com. I can type that in too here.
Please do.
I have it set up as a texting thing that
cool
shortcut thing. Yeah. So
there we have it.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. So
everybody's got that.
Guys, I really appreciate you having me on, and you guys, seriously, you're awesome, man. I'm honored to have you as part of the Grow Live Academy, and I think it's awesome what you guys are doing.
Well, thank you. We
Well, thank
appreciate
you,
it,
Ken.
and we know that you got a good message out there for people. So
Thank you.
We thank you much.
Man,
Stick
thank you.
on. We're gonna jump on off. If you want to stick on for a
Absolutely.
minute, we'll
Yep,
chat at
I'll
the end
wait.
here.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, Mark, any comments there, my friend?
Well, I don't know, man, but if that wasn't the best show, I mean that had to be. And please, seriously, Ken typed it in. You owe it to yourself. GrowLiveAcademy.com. He's giving you 300 off. The content in there will blow your mind. That's all I'm going to say. And then if you get involved on Thursdays, if you're crazy enough to venture forward in a good way, then there's what I call, your mentorship through Ken and all these other people that come on board. You never know who's going to show up. And, that's the beauty of it. And what you learn is more than just how to grow live. I mean,
Yeah.
you learn a lot of things about life, yourself, other people, and it goes on and on and on. So
Yeah.
this whole platform that Ken put together is more than just going and growing live. I mean, from that aspect, but it is about your growth, your personal growth and development. And he's like putting it out there to you on a silver platter and saying, here, and he's just feeding you, a lot of nuggets.
Yeah.
And I just want to thank Ken for coming on board tonight, because he could be doing something different tonight, Tom, instead of being with us, because his schedule's very demanding. I understand that.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the report card. That's
Oh yeah. Well, we'll see.
Yeah. But I just want to, establish this, and we'll sign out here. Is the Grow Live Academy is more about, like Mark said, than just how to set a camera up and a backdrop and lighting and all that type of stuff and what to say. But I think the most important thing I've gotten out of it is who he brings in to help round out how to take this program and build your belief from people that bring a lot of knowledge and wisdom on how-tos. Where can you go in a platform? We've had some sort of tremendous people, and we could drop names all night on them. But last week, Mark Vincent Hansen came in and talked about how to, where can you go and have dialogue with somebody? My wife watched that. She's an author. She's ready to publish her book, and gave her some great insights. And we're taking the next step to talk with his organization. So much more valuable than where do you look when you got the camera on? What do we got here?
Ken's put the comment, Mark Victor Hansen. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. So that was a treat. Thanks. All right. So in closing, anything else, Mark?
Well, Jerry Eisner, thank you once again for the wisdom out there. I appreciate it. And, that's the beauty of that he is a member of the Grow Live platform, the Academy. And that's all I can say. It's the quality of people that are in there. That's, it's just going to make you better at what you do. I mean, I can't simplify it enough, but that's it in a nutshell. It will make you better where you're at right now. If you really plug into it, it's just going to make you a better person.
And with regards to Mark and I, you can reach out to us if you'd like to be on our program. I'm going to bring up our banner real quick. Find out, free to find out what we're doing on the side here too, if you like. Let's see, where is that banner? There we go. There we go. This is how you get a hold of Mark or myself. Any questions, want to be a guest on our show, reach out to us. Everybody here that's been watching has something to offer. We'd love to have you on and share.
Sure.
You all ready, Mark?
That's tremendous. Yeah. Thank you, everybody, once again for being here this evening. Tremendous.
All right. We are going to sign out.